Hi, it's Rich Harrison from Geminus Training, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about free and funded training. Does it exist? Is it real? Is it worth the paper that it's written on, so to speak? So, anyone who knows what we do knows we've delivered funded training for a while. We deliver commercial training as well, and I'll say straight away there is no such thing as free training. Primarily because training takes time, and time, as we know, is money. So let's say for the sake of argument, you're going on a 5-day course. Let's say not your charging rate, but your value to the business is £100 per day, simple figures. Then you're looking at a cost of £500 to the business. If you charge yourself out at £500 a day, that's actually £2,500 worth of lost business to the business. So again, there is no such thing as free training. In addition, when you're looking at free or funded training, there tends to be an element of paperwork with it. If you're looking at the larger ESF projects, I'll go into that in due course, then it could be as much as half a day per course. So if you're training 20 people, then you're actually committing all of the training time plus 10 days worth of paperwork time. If you're training 200 people, then you're losing 100 days in paperwork time. So again, I hope you can realise from this there is no such thing as free training. It always costs. Now, the next step from free training is subsidised training. People ask what sort of funding is around for training. And at the moment, prior to Brexit, what you need to understand really is the difference between the different types of European project. European projects fall under this big umbrella called ESIF, European Structural Investment Fund, and they fall into two different pots. You've got ERDF, European Regional Development Fund, and that's pretty much about helping businesses. Subtle difference, but try and get this one. ERDF is about helping businesses. ESF is European Social Fund. That's about helping people. So whereas ESF tend to fund training courses, ERDF don't tend to fund training courses. But let's be careful here about the definition of training. They do fund learning programs. So if you offer, or you're wanting something that's a combination of a consultative aspect with a little bit of maybe mentoring, coaching, workshops, that arguably is something that could be funded under an ERDF program, but not an ESF program. Don't mention training to ERDF, mention it to ESF instead. There are some challenges with ESF funding. We know because some contracts aren't being renewed by the Skills and Funding Agency. Then there are going to be some regions, Lancashire is one, that's not going to have a solid training support program around, certainly for a few months. But again, there are many ways to skin a cat. What you should be doing as well is not just looking for funding for training. What you've got to do is look into the commercial cost of that program and say, is it actually cheaper and better for me just to pay for the program outright? And in many cases it is. We've certainly got clients, when they've looked at the requirements, the paperwork requirements for a funded program, they've said, you know what, we're just going to pay for it because it's a better use of our time. We've not got all the paperwork that has to go with it, all of the entrance reports, exit reports, screeners, etc., etc. So yeah, they're the sort of things you need to consider when you're looking at investment in training and return on investment in training. So ultimately, we're not saying free programs. Well, what we are saying is there's no such thing as free training, but funded training isn't a bad thing. What you need to do is look at the cost, look at the benefits, and say, do I want to pay for it commercially, or do I want to go down the funded route? And if I go down the funded route, what options are there for me? If you want to know more about what's available, what's around, what options you have, please don't hesitate to give me a shout. We're now adding this to the end of our blogs, so I should say my contact details will appear here any second now. Alternatively, if you want to contact me via LinkedIn, please send me a direct message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So again, many thanks for your time. Hope you found it interesting. Speak soon. Bye now.